What's up, and welcome to another edition of Viking Vibes, the St. Joseph by the Sea High School experience, a exclusive web series and podcast dedicated to all things St. Joseph by the Sea. Today we have with us a very special Alumni Spotlight. Joining us, we have Anthony Robles, graduate of the class of 2018, also graduate of the University of Rhode Island, and one of the youngest Jersey Mike's Subs franchise owners with 2 locations here in Staten Island that we're going to touch upon and expand upon. But so, Ant, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today, Ant.
I don't know if you've caught any of the web series, the St. Joseph by the Sea podcast that we've been doing. It's been a great success. It's basically a way in which we highlight all the great things that Sea is, was, and will become. But one of the things we really like to do is bring on successful alumni who have gone on to graduate through the halls of Sea and done great things. And you are a prime example of that. So we're very, very happy to have you here, and we're very interested in hearing your story.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So we're going to go to the beginning, right? We'll start at the beginning and work our way to the end. So tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you went to grammar school, and then what ultimately led you to choose St. Joseph by the Sea.
So I originally was born in the North Shore of Staten Island. I went to Academy of St. Dorothy.
Gotcha.
And then I actually moved over to the South Shore in 3rd grade, attended Public School 36.
Nice.
Then
down the block, I used to live on Ionia Avenue, right there on Amboy and Albee.
That was right down the block from my house. Made a very easy commute. Then I went to Intermediate School 75.
Got it.
Right in the same area.
Beautiful.
And then brought me to St. Joseph by the Sea, which actually I'm not the best test taker.
Listen, it happens.
Didn't actually get into Sea originally.
Really?
And that's actually part of my story with Sea, is that I actually had to sit down with Father Riley in the beginning with my parents and be like, hey, can your son do this? Like, is he up for the challenge?
Right.
And I knew I was able to do it. I just wasn't
clearly
the best test taker.
It happens. It happens to a lot of people. And that's an interesting point that you bring up, because a lot of times, I'm also a part of what we call the road show, right? We go out to grammar schools. We talk about the things that St. Joe's offers so that students are exposed to it and can see and learn about St. Joe's in addition to all the other high schools they're looking at. But one of the things that Father Riley does that, I can't speak for other high schools, but I know for a fact that there are many, many instances every year where kid just didn't take a test well. I mean, I wasn't a good test taker myself, but Father takes the next step. If a kid really wants to come and, he was out late or didn't sleep the night before, or he woke up and had a headache or whatever the case may be and got a bad mark on an exam, that's not the end all and be all. He's going to talk to your principal. He's going to talk to your family. He's going to bring you in. It's a good segue for me because I'm interested to hear, because I know your entire family is Sea grads, right?
Yeah.
So the Robles family bleeds blue. Talk about that.
Always. So growing up, it was always me being a Viking at the end of the day. I knew I wanted to be at St. Joseph by the Sea. I knew that's the high school I wanted to be a part of. My mom and dad met there way back when. And
a Sea love story.
Yeah, Sea
wow,
love
I didn't know that. There you go.
Yeah, they met back when, and then my sister went there, my brother followed, and then I eventually followed in the footsteps after. And yeah, I just always knew that I was going to be a Viking.
Talk about the transition coming from public into Catholic, because I know we've had a couple of other alumni come on and speak, and some are from, Catholic grammar schools or elementary schools, some are from public, but the public school always seemed to have a cool story. Like, was there a big transition? I mean, or was it just, you didn't have to think about what you wore every morning, right? You just put the uniform on and go.
Yeah, it was definitely very easy. I mean, I originally went to Academy of St. Dorothy, so I had the uniform every day when I was a kid.
Right.
But then going to public school, I was like, this feels weird. Like, I could wear whatever I want.
Right.
Honestly, I'd rather wear a uniform.
It's just easier. You wake up, you don't have to worry about it.
It made my life a lot easier wearing a uniform every day.
And talk about the experience, right? So, we're not going to go year by year, but give me an overview. What were some of the things you were involved with? What were some of the sports? What were some of the activities? What are some of the things that you remember from your time at St. Joe's?
Yeah, so I originally came in to Sea thinking I was going to be a baseball player because I played baseball my whole life. And
interesting.
Spoke to Coach Manos, and
there you go.
He brought me into football and introduced me to football.
You can't tell that man no.
You can't tell him.
You can't tell him no.
Oh no, especially when it comes to football.
Right, it's not going to happen.
He won't take no for an answer.
You'll be doing hits for an hour.
That's it. That's it. So I eventually, I didn't even play freshman ball. I just focused on football. I fell in love with it right away and just basically dedicated my time to training for football.
Right. Well, that's great. So you had that one thing. And then outside of the sports arena, were you involved in any other activities and clubs and stuff?
I was part of the Holy Name.
Myself as well. Loved that group, club, whatever the official title is. But that was a great way to gain knowledge of spirituality and get closer and giving in the community, which I know you do a lot for the community. We're going to come back to that right when we get through this part of the interview, but we'll talk about all the giving that you guys do through Jersey Mike's subs. So you're involved in football, which is great, that regimen, that structure, that framework. You're involved in Holy Name. Talk about some of the memories. Talk about some of the bonds and friendships you made in the halls of St. Joe's.
Wow. I mean, I'm still super close with all my friends that I
Love to
graduated.
hear that.
I have probably a group of 20 friends that we're still super tight.
Right.
We talk every day.
That's awesome.
And we see each other at least once a week.
Right.
Like every weekend we're together, spending time together. And it all goes back to C, hanging out in the Cube. What used to be the Cube.
The Cube.
The Cube's not there anymore.
The Cube's not there. Now it's
that's
the
where it all
Bloomberg
started.
Business Center, right? Right over there. That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Talk about the transition. So I'm going to assume, given where you are today, and we'll get there, that C really, really helped prepare you for your future, right? So talk about the transition from St. Joe's to then going to the university.
From St. Joe's prepared me a ton. I mean, just having to go through C and really just grind and really have to work my way up the ladder and prove that I could be here. I mean, it was a challenge. It was a challenge that basically taught me a lot of life lessons and showed me when I went to college that I could do anything. I got through St. Joseph by the Sea.
Right, and that's it. And you're prepared. When you got to college, talk about the college experience. How did you adjust? I'm not familiar with the University of Rhode Island. Talk to me.
I mean, definitely, it was definitely different. You know, it's a much smaller state.
Okay.
State college, but
makes
it's
sense.
a smaller state. Different people, you know, everyone is more so from the Northeast.
So they didn't have our accent. You stuck out a little.
Definitely. They were calling me out for coffee and
yeah.
water. And I honestly was afraid to speak sometimes
That's
because they
funny.
would make fun of the way I would speak. But they actually, they ate it up a little bit. They liked it. So,
Yeah, it's like a novelty, right?
Yeah.
I was that guy too. Don't worry. I've been the novelty many, many times.
Yeah, I mean, I took over some leadership roles when I joined the fraternity at the University of Rhode Island.
Nice.
Tau Kappa Epsilon.
Okay.
And their slogan was "Better Men for a Better World."
I like that slogan.
And
Okay.
yeah, it's definitely something that stuck with me throughout my whole life. Well, since I started college to this day. And it's something that I try to teach in people that look up to me, my employees. I try to teach them better men for a better world. It's just something that always stuck. It has a great meaning.
Yeah.
It lines up with, you know, the holy name as well, going back to St. Joseph by the Sea, being a gentleman.
Right.
I feel like St. Joseph by the Sea makes better men for a better world as well.
Right. Teach you how to be a gentleman, teach you how to interact, teach you how to move forward and progress with your life. So before we got on, you told me something interesting because I want to touch on what you studied. So what did you major in and what did you study while you were at Rhode Island?
So I studied supply chain management. It was definitely during the time where that was one of the most important things going on in our world with the supply chain crisis and everyone not being able to get their packages all the time.
Correct.
It was definitely where I knew I needed to study because of the career path I was going down.
Right. So now we'll talk about the career path.
Yeah.
So Jersey Mike's subs, you are one of the youngest franchisee owners of 2 locations here in Staten Island. So talk about, I mean, I don't know the answer. Did you work at Jersey Mike's when you were in high school and in college, or is it something you...
I started in college.
Okay.
I started my senior year of college, and actually in Rhode Island at the Warwick Avenue location, they gave me an opportunity out there. And just to basically learn about the company from the bottom up. And I learned the basics over there.
Right.
Then after I graduated, I went back and I worked for one of the stores in New Jersey. And that's where I really sharpened up my skills with customer service and working in a fast-paced environment. They were one of the busiest stores in America. Yeah, I definitely learned to stay under control.
Right.
When you have a lot of people in front of you, take a breath, you know, just keeping composure.
Right.
And definitely...
But we're talking, and I'm giving you flowers here. We're talking about a national chain here. This is not a small mom and pop endeavor to be one of the youngest owners of two franchises here in our borough. So you also mentioned that you specifically took the route you did in college because you had already known prior that you wanted to pursue owning a franchise. So talk about that.
I studied supply chain management because I knew I wanted to be a franchisee. I knew I wanted to own a Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's aligns with the same values as I have as a person.
Right.
And so I knew I needed to go into supply chain management. My father has a pretty high connection into the company that put me on an accelerated path to ownership.
Very cool.
And put me in the position that I am in today. And I wouldn't be here without my father. So everything goes back to that. And I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for C, because my mom and dad met there.
There you go.
So,
Life is funny, right? It all comes full circle.
Yeah,
When you look back, you see moments in time, or whether it be high school, college, or even in your career, where you're like, the day you made that decision, you didn't know whether it was the right one or the wrong one. But now you look back, you're like, wow, thank God I did that. Or thank God I didn't do that. Like I could have ended up in a car accident, or I could own a Jersey Mike's. Like it depends on the day, the time, and that decision that you made. So congratulations that you made the right decision. So talk a little bit about, I mean, I don't want to hear the scary part, but let's just face it. How old are you?
I am turning 24 in December.
Turning 24 in December. So, I mean, I could say this with full respect. As a young adult, right, there aren't many 24-year-old men walking around Staten Island who own franchises, just the reality. So talk about that. How do you handle that, the pressure, and not even the pressure, but how do you delegate and how do you oversee and manage day to day?
I mean, it all starts with having the confidence to do the job and the
Right.
confidence to manage your team. You got to be able to sit there and tell them, I know what I'm doing.
Right.
You don't have any doubt in yourself, because you know what you need to do. You were trained the right way to do this. Don't go out there and second guess yourself, because I know that I could do this job. I was trained for it, and that's what I was going to go and show them. Yeah.
Now, I know that you are, well, we alluded to the Holy Name Society sort of being the catalyst or planting the seed for everything that you are doing now and are going to continue to do with the franchise, giving back to the Staten Island community. So talk about some of the highlights and nonprofits that you're working with.
So it definitely started with the Holy Name, giving back for the toy drive.
Okay.
And actually delivering.
That's all it
the
takes.
Gifts. Yeah, those smiles, they could really light up a room and make you see the world like differently. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So back in, well, I'll start from, let's see, in March. We do the month of giving every year, Jersey Mike's nationwide.
Right.
And they pick a nonprofit locally, and it's voted between the franchisees. And they raise money for them all month. And then on the last Wednesday of the month, all proceeds, everything bought in the stores, sub, drinks, cookies, brownies, all go straight to that nonprofit.
That's
last
awesome.
Wednesday of the month. So that was how we first started this year for our fundraising. Then in June, we
And
went...
not to cut you off, but that was for our friends at Echo, right?
No, that was actually for, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mention that. That was for wellness in the schools.
Well, okay.
Wellness in the
This
schools.
was the national one.
This was the national one.
I framed it up incorrectly.
Yeah, wellness in the schools. We actually raised about $16,000 combined between both stores.
That's great.
And then in June, we ran our grand reopening for our Richmond Avenue location.
Right.
And typically, Jersey Mike's rolls out their grand reopenings with a nonprofit. I decided to choose ECHO, the Emergency Children's Health
Fantastic
Organization.
Shout out to Sebi and the whole family, all of them doing the great things, the Angelicos.
Yeah, they are the best. We raised money for them all month, which typically we don't do, but that's something I wanted to do specifically because Mr. Angelico and my family are very close.
Right.
So we raised money all month, and we raised about $7,300 for them.
That's amazing.
I'm actually meeting with them tomorrow to give them the check.
Really?
Yeah.
We gotta make sure we get a picture of that because we gotta put it on their social media accounts.
We will. We're going to take a picture. And then to look a little bit forward, we are raising money for Tunnels to Towers. It's September 6th.
Huge nonprofit here in the borough.
Yep. We're going to be having our grand reopening for our Highland Boulevard location on September 6th. So we'll be raising money from September 6th to the 13th.
Nice. Okay.
And we'll be rolling that out with them. And then to look forward, we're going to be working with Meals on Wheels.
Perfect.
Raising money with them.
Great local nonprofit delivering meals to homebound seniors.
Absolutely.
And I know you have, do you mind sharing that story?
Absolutely.
I know you shared a story with me about it.
Yeah, so my grandma Nilda actually worked for Meals on Wheels, or volunteered her time.
Right.
And she would actually take me on those trips with her. And I went a couple times, and I was just a young kid, but I would spend so much time with my grandma. She was my best friend growing up. She was a great role model. Great role model, seeing her do stuff like that in her 70s, like just doing that is amazing. Yeah, just going there. Even the people who, just want the food, it's just, it's okay. Like, we're there to take care of you. Like, it warms your heart just knowing that you're taking care of them. So I was walking around with her, like probably like 9, 8, 10 years old.
Another example of what we were talking about
food.
before, things coming full circle, right?
Yeah.
So you were doing that with your grandma, not really thinking about it. Now here you are, you're going to be doing a fundraiser through Jersey Mike's subs for Meals on Wheels. Who else we have on tap?
And then we have the Grace Foundation.
Another great local organization.
Yeah, we're going to be raising money for them. I believe in April, I think we discussed.
Could be April.
Yeah,
we don't have to worry about the calendar,
Yeah.
but we're going to be doing it. You're going to be doing it. But the crux of it is that you've been able to turn what is a business opportunity, right?
Right.
And make it so much more, right? Because plenty of us own businesses, but there aren't a lot of us who own businesses, but also are looking for philanthropy, looking for opportunities to give back. And, you know, we talk about it all the time. Staten Island is a very unique community for a lot of ways, but in a positive way, we're unique in one respect, that people gravitate towards others who do good things for the borough, right? Absolutely. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's almost like by you extending the olive branch and doing well and doing good for these other nonprofits, other people hear about it and they get excited about it. And they're like, you know what? If I'm going to go buy, and I'm going to say sandwich, I know that's not the right term, but if I'm going to go buy a sandwich or whatever other products you sell, instead of going to the deli or where I usually go, let me take a ride and let me go to Jersey Mike's. And you know why? Because I heard that they partnered with Echo and I like Echo, or I heard they partnered with Meals on Wheels and my grandmother receives Meals on Wheels. So I think that's a great opportunity for you here. And I think that that's an amazing thing that you're doing. So I commend you on that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most important things that always stuck with me that my father taught me was you put good out there, good will come back to you. Great. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Perfect. My father is probably my biggest role model.
There you go. That's nice.
Yeah.
And now, in case that's ever up for grabs, we'll clip this and make sure I text it to him so that he could always say, remember when you said this? Remember when you said this?
There you go.
Now where you are, again, still young, and I mean that respectfully, but given that you're young and you have so much at your disposal and you're in charge of, I mean, how many employees are at each location?
I have a total of 20 employees combined.
20 employees.
22 employees, yeah.
Okay.
Total, yeah.
And then you know what? I'm remiss. I don't think I actually asked you to tell us the location. So where are we located?
So I have the location is 2795 Richmond Avenue.
Okay.
That's located by the mall.
Gotcha. That's in that Pergament Shopping Center.
Pergament Shopping.
Gotcha.
Yep. And then the other one is 2714 Highland Boulevard. That's in Tyson's property.
Gotcha.
Yep, right over there next to the Home Goods over there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So the question then becomes, let's try and tie it all together. So where you are now and looking at where you came from, do you have any advice to kids that are currently in St. Joe's, kids that are looking to come in to see, parents that are wondering where their kids should go, or just anyone who's watching this podcast or listening, as to why C was for you and how C helped put you and place you on a trajectory for success?
Yeah, I think C definitely just overall put me in the right direction. They pointed me in the right direction. Whether it's what we wanted or not, they were going to make sure that we were going to be successful students. Like St. Joseph by the Sea has one of the strongest alumni programs. And probably my best advice to kids coming up and going to college is make connections, network.
Right.
Always be nice to people. You never know when it's going to come back around and be like, hey, you remember when I met this person and now you're doing business with that person 5-6 years later.
Right.
Like you never know how it's going to come full circle. So,
and you talked about preparing for college a little bit. So I don't know in 2018, I'm not as knowledgeable as I probably should be, but at that time, were they still giving out, and I don't mean giving out, but allowing students to enroll in the college credit program? Was that a part of your curriculum?
Yeah, I graduated with, I believe, 15 college credits.
You graduated with 15 college credits. That's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely helped me in the beginning stages,
So now that might have been around the time when the program was still a couple of years old.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure when they began that exact program, but I know that now we've had one or two alum come on this podcast, talk to us, and the kids over there can get up to 62 college credits.
It's amazing.
It doesn't, I mean, it's almost like by the time you graduate C, you graduate in 2 years from college. It's wild. And the kids do it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So how about scholarship money? Did you get any scholarship money?
I mean, I got scholarship money to go other places.
Okay.
Athletically and like have scholarships for academics, but my brother attended URI and I wanted to be with my brother and I wanted to experience and go to URI and kind of have a similar experience that he's having. Yeah. And that's kind of why I made my decision to go out there.
So what are the next steps, right? And I know this is hard to predict, but are you looking to continue to grow the footprint of Jersey Mike's in the borough? Are you looking to expand outside the borough into maybe Brooklyn?
I mean, it's always the goal is to, control. I mean, not control. I don't want to use that word. Well, the goal is really to own as many as you can handle. Okay. I don't want to own too many and then be overwhelmed and not be able to do. I want to be able to own as many that I could successfully operate.
Makes sense.
Whether that's 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, whatever it is. I want to make sure that I'm serving the highest quality of everything, whether it's my customer service, my bread, my bacon, freshly made every day. Everything's freshly made at Jersey Mike's that morning.
Right.
So it's important that those stores are what you would want a flagship store to be, or a corporate brand store. That's what I want my stores to be, and that's my limit. You know, if we get to a point where we're not getting the people that we need to grow, and give that customer that experience that we're looking for, then we're going to stay. We're gonna just stay where we are until we find the right people.
I got to commend you, because in addition to myself owning a couple of small businesses and knowing people who own businesses and interviewing people who own businesses, you have more knowledge than men and women who I've spoken with who have 40, 50-year-olds who have business. Like, you have your head exactly where it should be. If you continue to live by those ideologies, you will continue to be nothing but successful, because it takes people years to learn what you just said. So you should feel very proud that you already almost have the unlock at 23 years old for future success. So that's awesome. So before we end, first of all, again, I want to thank you for being here with us. I know you took time out of your day to come be on the podcast and talk about St. Joe's. Is there anything we didn't discuss that, any fond memories of St. Joe's, any outstanding things that happened that you look back on now and you say, wow, it's amazing that happened and here I am? Or
I would just say, if I was a C student, go to as many events as you can. Go to all the sports games. Go and enjoy your time with your classmates. You know, those nights where we would pack the basketball stadium out and we're there chanting for our team. I'm playing a football game and I turn around and I see all my best friends painting themselves for a football game.
It's not like that.
Oh my God, it's nothing better than that, man. Go and do that. Like, those experiences were the best experience that I had. Go out and have a good time, see your friends, and, just be a good person. Don't stay inside.
I want to put that right here. Be a good person.
Be a good person.
Want that,
Don't stay inside. Don't stay on your phone. Don't play video games all day. Go out. It's a good world out there where everyone's trapped on their phones. Like, go out and
there's a world outside of that.
There's a world outside your phone.
And talking about that, so I wasn't going to ask you this originally, but you just mentioned something about the stadium and the basketball courts. So C was beautiful when you were there, the same way it was beautiful when I was there, right? But I graduated in 2001. So it looked like a war. I mean, what you had was light years ahead of what I had. And now, even today, is light years ahead of what you had. So talk about, you've been back to the campus. That's where we met. So talk about what the campus looks like now versus what it was when you were there.
Oh, my God. Just how much they expanded to the outside. I remember my football locker room used to be the old wrestling,
that was mine too.
Gym, and that was also our weight room at the same time. Like, it's just so amazing how far C has come in such short time too. Like, they put that building up and they ran with it.
That's it.
It is beautiful in there. It's really like it looks like a college campus.
It's a college. Even right now, as we're talking here, we're in August, so I'm not sure when this airs, but we're in August, and I can guarantee, even though I don't know what it is, that Father Riley has a team of architects, builders, painters, whatever, doing something right now to the building, because when the kids go in come September, there'll be something brand new that they'll be like, wow. And he does it over the summer. He does it when it doesn't impede on any of the learning, any of the education, any of the sports. But what he's able to accomplish in a summer is what typically takes people years to do, right? But it all speaks volumes to what C does and the power that C gives its students to continue on to future success. So again, Anthony Robles, class of 2018, one of the youngest franchise. I got stuck on this. I'm going to say it out loud. I don't care. One of the youngest franchisee owners. I don't want to say that. We might leave that in because it's fun if I screw it up. One of the youngest franchise owners of 2 Jersey Mike's subs located right here in Staten Island. And before I ask everybody to like, follow, and share Viking Vibes, let's do a little promo for you. Where can people follow social media handles for your stores and your locations? So
the only personal ran social media account that we're allowed to have as franchisees is a Facebook.
Okay.
So you could follow us on Facebook at 2795 Richmond, Jersey Mike's.
Perfect.
And then the 2714 Highland Boulevard, Jersey Mike's. Just search that up and we'll come right up.
And where are we following the parent company? Because I'm sure they're sharing all their content. So what's the parent company handles?
The parent company, the parent company is all ran by corporate. So that's you just Jersey Mike's on the Instagram, Jersey Mike's on Twitter, or X nowadays.
Yeah, it's true, X. So once again, for anyone watching or listening, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you, Anthony, for your time, for being here with us to share your story of inspiration and where you were and where you are today. We hope that when you have 55 of these franchises, you come back and you talk to us again and you're telling us how you did it and how you've expanded all over the country. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Viking Vibes, the St. Joseph by the Sea High School experience. We encourage you to like, follow, share, and subscribe to this content. And until next time, we'll see you later.